Today I'm giving you the top 5 units of the City Opera Omnia 2022. Number 5 is Dffoo. I don't think anyone needs any particular reminder of how strong Dffoo is. Single DPS queen, no one else does as many HP dumps as she does when it comes to single target. She's basically a machine gun with how her moves work. Also, a great thing about Dffoo is her force conditions aren't that hard to accomplish. What you need to do is you basically need to hit single target. Also, you need to do critical brave damage, which again, most of the time when you're fighting these bosses, you're going to be hitting for critical brave because they're probably going to be broken. Not only is Dffoo a great DPS, but she also has a good force condition in which it's very easy to accomplish for all party members, not just her. Number 4 in this list would be Vaughn. A lot of you guys might not remember that he had an FR. Yes, he did have an FR back then, and he's still very good. The great thing about Vaughn is not only does he hit great weak damage, but he doesn't rely as much on brave support as someone like Dffoo does. If you have his BT effect up and the enemy's debuffed somewhat, chances are you're going to be hitting max HP dumps with him. Also, amazing thing with his FR, he gives all the party members free turns, which also help fulfill his force conditions. When it comes to pure damage output, he gives out, in my opinion, just as much as Dffoo. But what puts him slightly ahead of Dffoo in this list is that he doesn't need as much support or as much backing, and he has some degree of self-sustainability with his BT effect. Number 3 is Rinoa. A lot of people say she's essentially the AoE DPS, but in my opinion, I think she still works really well even in single target. Also, similar to Vaughn, she doesn't rely as much on brave gains. Even if you're fighting a single target and you use her attacks, those attacks are still going to be doing 8 HP dumps, 9 HP dumps. It still will hit like a truck, so it's not as if she's in the same line of Lon and Rain where if they're single target then you can't use them. You can still use her as the main DPS and she'll work beautifully. She's still one of the most versatile attackers in the entire game period. Now we have the top 2 of this list, which their damage ceilings are second to none. They're each game-bustingly broken in their own way. Number 2, we have Minwoo, essentially the king of trap and off-turn damage. Some units do damage by dealing out enormous amount of HP dumps in their attacks. However, Minwoo, his case is he just triggers a lot of traps. It might not sound very strong at first, but think about this. Every single time a single trap goes off, that's an extra 10% on the force gauge. With his BT effect, in which traps go down 2 turns instead of 1, if you have 2 or more enemies on the board, you're looking at easily 4 to 6 HP dumps every single attack he does. And every 5 traps that goes off, there's an extra 3 AoE HP dump that follows up with that. And that resets the traps. I have done enormous amounts of damage with Minwoo. And also, in my personal opinion, Minwoo is one of the most fun characters to use in the game because just watching every single trap go off and increasing the force gauge every single time it goes off, it's one of those oddly satisfying things to watch. Now we have number 1. If you guys have played the game for quite a while, you probably do know the unit I'm about to reference. A lot of people are excited to pull for them when their BT and FR come out late December. I'm going to be one of those people that buys the costume on top of pulling for him. They're still the strongest DPS unit in JP. The number 1 DPS unit in the entirety of the year 2022 is Kina. Kina is just an extremely strong unit. Her BT effect lets it so every single attack does max HP dumps. I mean, that's just incredibly broken. I didn't pull for Kina initially when her banner came out on JP, but best believe when Kina comes around in global, I'm definitely pulling for her. I'm done messing around. Number 1 is Jack Garland. You guys know I was going to name him number 1, right? There was no way I wasn't going to name him. There was no way in hell I was going to put this Zanny not in the number 1 spot. I mean, that would just be blasphemous at that point. But yeah, Jack Garland pretty much has everything that all the top tier DPS units had, such as Dffoo, Machina, but just did it way better. The crazy thing is with Jack Garland, you don't even need any particular BT effect on or force effect on. He does ungodly amounts of damage straight from the beginning without any special buffs. He's just that strong. And despite being disgustingly strong, he's one of the more simple DPS units to play in the game. All you gotta do is just press 1 attack and watch the damage roll. His force conditions are also extremely easy to hit. You basically just need to do brave damage to the enemy when they have negative brave damage, and that is essentially every single time Jack Garland attacks. So you have an absolutely broken unit who does the hardest damage in the entire game. You have a force condition that's one of the easiest to fulfill in the entire game, and most of all, on top of that, he's just daddy, okay? I don't think anyone can deny that. He's just an all-in-one package. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't pull for him. I mean, unless you just had some sort of bloodlust hatred towards Jack Garland or Strangers of Paradise, I don't see why anyone would not pull on him. So that's the list. Let me know if I got it right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye!